Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are, and this is the final episode of 4 with Goldhofer, Lothar Holder, Head of Airport Technology, who's also a board member. And the original title we had was Benefits of GSE, and we decided to break it down into 4 elements or 4 episodes. This now being the 4th one, which is a very important one as well, which is servicing and maintenance. So, Lothar, we've spoken about the initial higher cost and a sort of a lack of awareness of the overall bigger picture over a period of time, which makes a big impact. And as we said in the earlier episodes, as you know, as this program, shall we say, starts to gain momentum, the costs will come down eventually. But until then, it's a key part of what we're doing in the future. So, if you could just explain about the long maintenance cycles and the components and how they're used, etc., so that we get a picture of why the maintenance program of the GSE, electric GSE, is so different.
Yeah, it's, we had in the previous sessions, we talked a lot about safety, efficiencies, reliability. I think this element, service and maintenance of an electric drivetrain, this is the most important element to drive efficiency and drive down cost.
Yeah.
First of all, a properly designed electric drivetrain is more or less maintenance free. So in the drivetrain, we hardly see any wear and tear of components. In an electric motor, in a battery, so there is no regular maintenance required. This is an extremely big cost block in the operational cost when looking at the operating hours of such a vehicle. So we have seen in the applications where we apply the battery electric technology that we drove down maintenance cost by 70 to 80% compared to conventional tractors. So when looking at, again, total cost of ownership is not our topic today, but it's an extremely important element to also argue for the higher initial procurement cost. I can clearly say in a performance application where the vehicle is used quite heavily, you see an amortization period of sometimes less than 2 years. So
really?
It's, we have, if our colleague from Lufthansa would be sitting here today, he could show you the exact numbers. It's a high 5-digit euro number he saves every year just on the reduced operational cost, which is a very, it's a self-moving topic, it's everybody is really excited about it. So,
but it's good, and it makes sense. But again, it's the awareness, isn't it?
Yeah. But of course, it's not just using the electric drivetrain. I think it's also the system integration, how the system is set up. I mentioned that in one of the previous sessions already. With a diesel engine, you have a lot of idling on when the tractor sits at the gate and is not really pulling or pushing an aircraft. With a battery electric drivetrain, you don't have that. So all of the components that used to run during these idling hours are not being used when battery electric drivetrain. So you extend the life of these components and always obviously reduce the required maintenance for these components. So I think it's that the maintenance expense is a huge dimension of increasing your efficiency and decreasing your operational costs in that aspect.
Yeah, which is great. Now, something that is important also, and something that's available, is the remote access and diagnostics, and what can be extracted, and the telemetry systems, and what you can do and how you can use that data. And everybody knows, data-driven decision making is far more effective than other ways. So can you just go into a little bit of bit of background with regards to the KPI parameters, etc.?
Yeah. I think that's another important element, because it's the technology that drives efficiency on the service side in that aspect, but in combination with the telemetry or telemetric systems, I think that combination makes it even more successful.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have with a remote access, we're following all our tractors across the globe. I can tell you every day what this tractor is doing, how it's going to be used. So we have a complete understanding of the load characteristics, which is also, again, very important to control the battery life, to understand what's happening in the drivetrain. So we select exactly the data that is relevant for a proper maintenance planning, because our goal is to move to a really condition-based maintenance and give the operator kind of a pre-warning. So brake pad, whatever, this is something you need to address within the next 150 hours, so that the operator can properly plan for his controlled maintenance stop in the workshop. And that, again, creates a much higher efficiency than just normal preventive maintenance procedure, because sometimes in the preventive maintenance, which is already a positive step, but you look at components or change at components which really don't need it yet, So it's a further cost reduction element in that strategy.
Yeah, there's something that always bugs me. Okay, if you get a decent car, you want to service it properly.
Yeah.
And then the conundrum that always I think, well, if I haven't done that amount of mileage, so I travel so much, so I think to myself, why have I got that bloody car sitting on the drive and I'm not using it? And then next thing, I drive it and then it comes out and says service. And I think, how can I need a service now? I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the preventive maintenance is done too energetically, and at other times it's not done well enough because, but we've got an extra flight, or I can't go to that stand, or whatever. And it's a little bit of a paradox in itself. So
Chris, we have to be honest. This is a money-making machine. So the money or the margins, the profits are usually made on the service side, on the part side of the business in a lot of industries. But that's just one element. You mentioned, I have to go to the workshop, to find that out. And that's exactly what we like to avoid by using these telemetric systems and remote systems, because we used to send our service engineers on aircrafts to customers on a weekly basis, Just imagine the cost you accumulate there. Yeah. Now with the direct access to the drivetrain system, to the battery system, we can do that remote from the office. You have all the data to find out what could be a cause for trouble or a failure signal you received, and you can also create reports, to which you send your customer in terms of, look, this is the state of your components. Please look into your maintenance program, maybe apply driver trainings so the vehicle is not used as it's supposed to be. So there's a lot of consulting also at the same time, and you can do a lot of that. Not all of it, but a lot of it you can do remote. You don't have to go on site anymore.
And I also think there should be a choice option.
Yeah.
So, like, coming back to my car now, right? So that comes up, and then I know how much it's going to cost. And I think, good God, what are they going to do? Do you know what I mean? I've done hardly anything with the car in this period. Short, small, fast service. And even the guys that I know so well there, they say, Chris, do you know what I'm saying? This car's like brand new. Why are you... I say, because a bloody light comes on and it tells me I've got to come here. But I would like it to have a choice, which says, you've done virtually no mileage, blah, blah, blah. There's no safety issues shown. However, if you want to maintain for the sake of whatever, feel free, click on the following. And that should be at a reduced level for people, And I know it's money making, But if people really wanted to satisfy and give something special to the car, they should do that. Absolutely. And then when you come to sell the vehicle, and somebody looks at your service book record and they look at your stamps and everything, or now electronically they can see the service history, it should say that these choices were made. And then somebody then who's thinking of buying a car thinks, my God, if the manufacturing allocated garages have that much care about the customer, I'm definitely going to buy this car.
Yeah. That's we mentioned that in the previous session, building trust. That's extremely important with that new technology. And if you apply such an approach, you will definitely build trust with your customers.
Yeah.
What we did not mention yet, which is again brings or comes back to a different topic on efficiency. I mean, we all know we have problems. A lot of our customers have problems getting qualified service technicians,
correct,
engineers into their organizations. So looking at the volume of work you reduce by applying the electric drivetrain technology with the far lower maintenance requirements, that saves you also on the personnel side headcount.
Yes.
So you need less people to run the same fleet like you need for a conventional fleet.
Yes.
And that's for many customers.
And they become more expert.
And they become more, of course, they need also different qualifications. If you run such an electric vehicle, they have to have high voltage training, high voltage certifications. So the work environment changes, but it's, in my opinion, it's more attractive to younger people because you apply the latest technologies, and younger people are very open to these new technologies, and that helps you again to attract qualified people to work for your organizations in the workshop or wherever it's required, So it's an extremely important element, and this is a global situation we see here, at least in the more developed countries. Human resource is getting a very critical factor. Either lack or attracting the people to work for your company. And this is something we want to also address with these strategies, with these new technologies.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the more they get involved and the more expert they become, it enhances their personal purpose. And I think that's so important. Just a little technical glitch there for anybody listening, and I'll be spanking Salem later on. Okay, so no problem, we move on. So there we go. The man who tells us what not to do and to do has just abused the rules. Okay, I think he sat on a battery that was a little bit too warm.
Obviously.
No, but seriously, now what I'd like to do moving on there, Lothar, is what sort of planned developments or what's coming up? What's new? What's new for Goldhofer? What's new for you? Mm-hmm. What you're excited about now over the next couple of years?
I think we have done our homework with applying the alternative driveline technologies, as I always call them. It's the key path is battery electric right now, but obviously we are also looking into other technologies. We are very open there. Again, it's not a right or wrong thing. We're at the early phase of a new drivetrain world, and we have to find out what might be potential other technologies there as well. But I think drivetrain, tick. I think our next element is to work even harder on a safety strategy, not so much related to the vehicle, but related to the operation of these vehicles. And there are a lot of elements, where you can also implement in your telemetry systems, like, for instance, the condition-based maintenance, as I mentioned. That's one, but that's not covering, it's also covering safety. But a lot of customers, we are looking into geo-fencing, which is one of the key strategies there. Obviously, there will be more of automation. I don't talk about full autonomy yet, because I think the industry is still has still a long way to go to accomplish that with all the regulatory environments and so on. But the elements we are focusing on is after the implementation of the battery electric drivetrains is now the safety aspect by using our telemetry strengths, to open up new fields to increase safety in the operation.
100%. And I'd like to talk to you offline about something there, about an idea. But I think that's a great way to end. We mentioned safety in every single episode. We ended with a safety strategy or a new safety initiative, which is so important.
Yep.
And if we do one that's linked to people's competencies and also compliance, and then we've got control over it through the telemetry information that we get back, then I think you're on a winner.
The proof.
Then you're on a winner. You're on a winner, and that is invaluable.
Yep.
Lothar, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you. It's been a pleasure going through these episodes. You're a man with a great wealth of experience and wisdom. You put it across very succinctly. I've learned a lot. I love to learn. And as I mentioned, my future son-in-law, Sam, so now I'll be able to say to him now, see, Sam, I've come on board as well, and I'm also supporting it as well. So
thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah,
it was a
pleasure.
pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Lothar.
Appreciate it. Thank you.